sacred, that sacrifice.
So welcome to every soul that comes here. It is my intention that you're able to receive something you probably couldn't receive through anyone else or through any other way. Messages that have been blocked, messages that have been trapped in your subconscious mind, messages that your ancestors, spirit guides, higher our divine self has been wanting to send to you is what I intend to allow to come through. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if I start channeling, if I start looking weird, doing strange things, like let it not be a thing, like it's part of my process, okay? So over here we not hiding our authentic selves, right? And so I'm sure some of us have some strange things that we do, because I'm pretty sure that everybody who is watching me, whether you're watching me live or watching the replay, you do some strange stuff too. And one of those things is you probably talk to yourself more than you would like to admit. I'm kind of picking up on that. Like y'all be talking to yourself, but you also be having answers. You be having a whole conversation with yourself. You be like, girl, like, what are you doing? You need to get it together. You be like, you know what? I sure do. Da 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 da. So yeah, I do that too. It's actually a sign of spiritual intelligence to talk to yourself. I mean, if you don't enjoy a conversation with yourself, are you loving yourself? Right? Because when people don't enjoy your presence, you got to wonder about that. And so I think that if you could find a way to enjoy your own presence, enjoy your essence, it would shift a lot of things that we try to make change and can't get to change. Okay, so here we go. The first card for the souls that are receiving this word. And as I'm recording this too, let me say this really quickly. But people are starting to see UFOs in areas that I talked about last year. And that video is on my YouTube channel. And I specifically said that one of the gifts that was going to be passed out is going to be the gift of telepathy. And that gift of telepathy is going to be, it's going to be disturbing for some of us, because we may be picking up on messages that's coming from people, and they may not even be aware that they're sending out that broadcast signal. And so if their shadow self, they still haven't done any integration work with their shadow self, they could be thinking something towards you or about you that's negative, but they could be completely unaware of it, and you're going to hear it, you're going to feel it. And so, yeah, it's going to get interesting, because it's like, okay, how do I navigate this? How do I navigate having telepathy? Do I call people out when I pick up on energy that's being broadcast from them? Do I call them out, or do I just don't say nothing? If I don't say nothing, then how do I process my emotions after that? And do I ruminate about it? And I actually had an experience here recently where a lady that I had a conversation with was having some really, really negative thoughts about me. And it was so loud, it was even interrupting my ability to communicate, because it was throwing me off. And the way that she was presenting herself in front of me was completely opposite as to what she was saying in her mind towards me. And so you got to be able to be emotionally regulated to be able to deal with those types of things. And it's not always going to be easy. I got a hairpin stuck in my head, and that hurts so bad. But I got it out. That's not always going to be easy to deal with. So I want y'all to keep that in mind, because a lot of people are talking about being clairvoyant, clairsentient, being more intuitive, all of these things, but nobody is talking about how telepathy can really destroy your relationship. And so I went through it early on. And you will start to feel like people are gaslighting you, because they're going to deny whatever it is that you're picking up on, because they're not aware of it. And most people have not done shadow work. I'm still doing shadow work, and I've been teaching and doing this since 2016. That's 9 years, and I'm still doing the work. So yes, telepathy is one of the reasons that we're seeing a lot of these ships. We're going to see more of them. But yeah, I'll talk about more about that in the future. I did do a third eye atlas video today. So when I finish doing this reading, you can check that out. But I don't want to be on here too long. I want to be able to be done by 11 o'clock. So let me let these messages come through. And these messages are timeless. So no matter when you hear this, it's probably going to shock you and surprise you as to what information you start receiving as a result of this reading. So yes, I am an oracle. I am the lineage of the Sibyls, the ancient Sibyls. This is why my life was so difficult. This is why I had 2 near-death experiences. All of these things are normal things to happen for people who are of certain ancient bloodlines. So yes, even having a chronic illness is usually symbolic of you coming from a very spiritual, it could be any spiritual practice, but when you come through a bloodline where that lineage had mastered something, like before we got to the place where we are now, where we're disconnected and forgot, like if that's you, a lot of us are having chronic illnesses, chronic fatigue, ADHD, autism, burnout, things like that, because we're being activated now. And so that's meant to initiate us into what we're here to do. So as this is happening, as the telepathy is increasing, we're going to see things that we don't usually see. It's because our third eye, Atlas, right, is being opened up to the sky, which is represented by Atlas. So crown chakra energy is just through the roof right now for a lot of us. If you want to amplify your crown chakra energy, one thing that you could do is drink tart cherry juice. It doesn't have sugar in it, the real deal. Not the one that began with W that we had to drink when we was in church, and we had to drink the blood of the Messiah and eat the flesh of the Messiah. Not that one, but just get tart cherry juice, okay? Not grape juice. And that will help to open your crown chakra as well. And if you're having neck pain, I'm not a medical practitioner, I'm not giving advice, but I will say this: getting adjusted with my chiropractor, it definitely helps me to receive downloads, because downloads could actually throw your neck out of alignment. Kundalini awakenings can throw your neck and back out of alignment as well. So those are just some of the things that people don't usually talk about, okay? All right, well, here we go, the first card. So thank you so much for this message. With love, I'm sharing all of this. I'm not holding anything back. I'm completely open to communicate whatever it is that you want to share. I'll share. All right. First card that comes up is pink tourmaline. Oh my, pink tourmaline. This is one of my favorites. I got so many, but this is one of my favorites. So pink tourmaline represents forgiveness. I feel like the reason that this card is coming up is because a lot of us, a lot of people who are going to be watching this reading or watching this reading now, forgiveness is something that you've been struggling with. 9 times out of 10, you're better at forgiving other people than you are at forgiving yourself. And so it was something recently that happened, and you kind of felt regret about it, and you kind of felt like I should have handled that differently. You haven't forgave yourself yet. So it's going to be really important for you to forgive yourself for whatever that thing is, you know, inside your own heart what it is. It could have been something that just happened recently, or it could have been something that happened a long time ago, and it's been coming back around to you, because that's what astrology does. Astrology put us in energetic classrooms, and every so often the rotation of that planet puts us back in that classroom and then gives us tests. And so oftentimes memories and emotions, things that we repress, will come back up to see, did you learn the lesson, and are you ready to do what you need to do, you know, to step into that energy of healing, right? Of being whole. But you haven't forgave yourself for something. And oftentimes people will mirror that, and people will be bringing up shit that happened or that you said or that you did, you know, and you're like, why you keep bringing that up? Especially with the holidays and stuff coming, and my readings are timeless, so no matter when you see this, like, eventually this is probably going to be mirrored to you in your reality. But with the holidays coming up, and we're going to be around more people and things like that, people may even be bringing up old stuff. But you got to be able to forgive yourself, so that if people start bringing it up, you're not going to be triggered by it, where it's going to trigger you into behaving like your old self, and you're going to be able to keep yourself on the timeline of ascension and not the timeline of the 3D collapse, which is based in ego. So forgive yourself. It's okay. I mean, really, if you be honest with yourself, you've really been doing the best you can do. Maybe you could have made a better decision or did it different, but we don't take L's. Spiritual beings do not take L's, because we learn lessons, which begins with an L, but we learn lessons from every mistake. So that's why we don't take L's. We learn lessons. I like that. Bars. So that's what that card represents. All right. Now I'm going to move on to my Isis deck, and let's see what Isis has to share with us. I appreciate y'all. If ain't nobody told you, like, your existence really do fucking matter. You're here for a reason. And a lot of us who are important and are here for a reason have had many experiences that made us feel small, insignificant, made us lack confidence to be able to do things that we know deep in our heart we want to do. It's just that's how the 3D matrix work. That's the virus of the 3D matrix. It's called Wetigo, and it's based in fear and ego. And so people throughout your lifetime, even people that you love, especially people that you love, you know, those will be the people that will say things to you, and they're not even really aware of the impact it's having on you, because this is a virus that's really, really deep in the subconscious mind. And this is based on your Akashic record. And so if you have soul contracts for people to constantly remind you of mistakes that you made, that's going to keep happening. But once you stop reminding yourself about mistakes that you made, and you're able to forgive yourself and move on, and self-forgiveness is much more challenging than it sounds. It's easier to say than it is to do. Okay. So yeah, the more that you do that, the less you will have people that misunderstand you and people that blame you for things that you didn't do. And so a lot of y'all, you know, got to forgive yourself for that, because y'all have been blamed for some stuff that you really didn't even do. And you almost feel like, it almost make you feel like you tripping. You like, am I crazy? Like, I still don't see how they was able to assign the meaning to the situation, and it's completely opposite of the truth. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It is not your job to manage other people's ideas of you and perception of you. Everybody is not going to understand why you do it, or understand it. And so this is you being able to be okay with being misunderstood. So just accept it now, because everybody not going to understand, okay? And the growth that you're stepping into is going to be something that's going to be confusing to other people. And other people are going to accuse you of being fake. People are going to accuse you of all types of stuff. I mean, just think of the most wildish shit. And yeah, that's going to be happening. When that start happening, just know it's an Agent Smith situation going on. You got a little NPC situation going on, and that person has went offline. And the 3D matrix archonic entities that feed off of human suffering are instigating something through that person's mouth, and they are really probably not even in their body. This is why living in your head it was a survival mechanism, but it's not a safe thing to constantly do. Because if you're living in your head, then all the other aspects, the portals, the chakras within your body are wide open to be inhabited by other energies. And so this is why we want to get back into our body, practice getting in our body. And I feel like I am certified to be able to talk about this because of the levels of pain that I have in my body. I oftentimes escape the pain by being in my mind about something. Fixating my focus on something. But it's intentional disassociation. It's not unintentional. Unconscious disassociation is dangerous because other energies can use your mouth, speak and say shit, behave in ways, and even broadcast energetic messages that's really not in alignment with you and who you are. So it's kind of like charges to my head and not to my heart situation. Yeah, the heart is inside the body. It's not in the head. So if you tend to be very mental, if you intellectualize things, even intellectualizing your feelings, You're not actually allowing yourself to be with those feelings and be with your body. And this is why I've been talking about the body so much, because the body is very important. And let me say this before I read this next card. I'm channeling messages are not coming through, but let me say this. For those of us who were impacted by religion, for those of us who went through any form of religion, religion made it seem as if the flesh was demonic. The flesh was evil. The flesh was bad. The flesh was something that you shouldn't even trust. There are specific scriptures that say that the heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. Who can know the heart but God? That no man can know the heart but God. And so if you went through that programming, because that programming is embedded in the teachings, then you learn to not trust your heart. And if you think your heart is wicked and you think it's deceitful, you're going to live in your head. And that's going to keep your body with vacancies for these other entities that feed off of human suffering. And so, that's really important for us to be able to connect some of the deeper roots of this and how this mask psyop got embedded into our subconscious minds. So a lot of us don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our heart. We don't trust our feelings. And with that being said, it's going to be hard for you to forgive yourself when you don't even fucking trust yourself. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people probably don't know that, but being that the flesh is something that you are supposed to crucify, all throughout religion, the body was never an important aspect of my spiritual journey. The only part of it that was important was for me to deny myself, right? Because the flesh is weak. And so I need to beat it. Literally, it said that you need to beat your flesh. Don't trust it. It's weak. Satan has corrupted it. And so this is the reason, if you went through this programming or even came up in families that went through this programming, yes, it's going to be a challenge for you to actually be able to take care of your body in a way that supports your spiritual journey. So self-care and physical hygiene combined with spiritual hygiene, you turn into a whole other version of yourself. All right, so don't forget that, y'all. And because a lot of us neglected our bodies, and just really didn't see that our body was actually the third temple, because of that, a lot of us are now like playing catch up, So it's like, I have not really taken care of my heart as much as I could. I have not taken care of my skin as much as I probably would benefit from. The skin is the largest organ. When you look at the hidden meaning of different parts of the body, think about it. The skin is the first line of defense to anything outside of you that could make you sick. And so for a lot of us, we don't know about using smoke to purify our skin. A lot of African cultures and other cultures, you would use smoke in this way, but a lot of us don't know that. We might sage and Palo Santo our house, but doing it with your body and also using herbs like mugwort to smoke different parts of your body. I do certain acupressure points in my body. These these are the secrets that people put in programs that cost thousands of dollars, but they really make a difference, and they're small things that you can do. Okay, so the next card that I pulled from my Isis deck is the Talisman. This is the card that represents talismans. And so this is letting me know, before I even get into this is letting me know that I'm going to say something that might sound a little bit woo-woo, but like I said, this is what we do over here. We keep it, we keep it 100. So let me just say this. There are certain portals that were opened earlier this year, and those portals allow certain entities that had not been on the planet in a very long time. They're running rampant on the planet right now. If you could see them, they look like small circles of smoke, like shadowy smoke, and they are circling around the planet. And whoever is a vibrational match, they enter into them and start to manipulate their behavior. Not even just towards other people, but towards that person, towards themselves. Self-hatred, self-condemnation, self-judgment, criticism. A lot of these things can be a result of these negative entity attachments. They are running rampant right now. Who opened those 5 portals? I'm pretty sure all of us here know. What did that mean? What did that really mean? Well, those 5 portals were actually 5 seals, the 5 seals that were spoken about in the book of Revelation. And I'm only using that book because more people are familiar with it. And so those 5 seals were cracked open. Notice in one of the portals that was open, they called it a prison. And they said that they were unlocking the seals of this specific prison. Spiritually, certain entities have been imprisoned in certain areas for a very good reason. I mean, it was for a reason, but they're being let loose now. Okay. And so with that being said, I just mentioned spiritual hygiene. Do you have your list and do you keep up with it? Brushing your teeth, washing your face, moisturizing yourself, like all those things are really important. But if your spiritual hygiene doesn't look like your physical hygiene, you're leaving yourself open too much. Okay. So it says sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing your power and intention, helping you heal the split between spirit and matter, bringing physical matter more deeply into light and life. You are encouraged to work with sacred materials in a conscious way to help your own healing and enjoyment of the material world as part of your spiritual practice. So let me say this. Most people would say that finding ways to enjoy your material world is not spiritual. Most of us receive this programming throughout our life, and that programming is detrimental because spirit creates matter. So anything that's in your physical realm first manifested itself in the non-physical realm, in the spiritual realm. So that means that what we're interacting with in our external world is an effect of spirit. And so by working with sacred tools, you can alter the physical reality by using sacred tools to tap into the spiritual reality. So choose your tools and actually use them. Don't let them just sit around and collect dust. If they are collecting dust, this is a sign to go and dust them off. Go and rinse off your crystals. Go ahead and charge them. Get them ready. These things have kind of went viral as of lately, and it's become like this catchy thing to do, and it's sort of kind of lost its meaning to some of us because there's an oversaturation of it. And this can lead to you feeling like your rose quartz ain't doing shit for you. It could lead you feeling like, is this stuff really as important as I once thought it was? For some of us, I can see candles that you have around the house that you haven't burned. Candle magic is like one of my most favorite things to do because it's quick, it's easy, it's not expensive, and it's effective. And when you learn how to work with these tools, one thing that I will mention is because they are an extension of you, how you handle your tools will also be mirrored in the universe with how reality and people handle you. So an example of that would be my Lakshmi statue, my Kuan Yin statue. Okay, so I make sure that I keep them dusted off. I make sure that I keep them clean. Kuan Yin is the goddess of compassion. She helps me to be able to be more self-forgiving. So that's why I work with her. And by me keeping her clean, that is a energetic signature that I'm giving off that this is not just decoration. This means something to me. And it's important that I don't allow you to be in a dusty state because I don't want to be dusty. And if you single and you don't want to attract no dusty ass men, like dust your stuff off and try to keep it dust off as much as possible. Cleanliness is what next to godliness, right? So what that really means is that cleanliness is a reflection of, can be a reflection and extension of spiritual cleansing and spiritual purity. So use your talismans. I have some, like the Eye of Horus, that I wear every single day. I never take this off. As well, jewelry, like maybe you haven't worn it in a while, go and get it. Burning benzoin incense resin. I highly recommend this if you have anxiety, depression, or if spirits tend to be attached to you because you are an empath. Because empaths are spiritual sponges. Energies love to attach to us. They even get addicted to being attached to us because we feel things really deeply. And emotions is something that is unique to humanity. So all of these other entities who can't experience emotion on their own have to feed off of our emotion. And so because we feel things deeply, it's like getting high with them being attached to us. So it's even more important if you are a sponge and you tend to absorb energy. If you are a yoga empath, you tend to absorb other people's pain. People may share a story with you and you like literally feel like it's happening to you. Like emotionally, you like, damn, like I'm so sorry to hear that. Like I couldn't even imagine how I would handle this if I was you. Like you feeling this shit from your head to your toes. That is an empath. And so having talismans is something that you don't want to be like an aesthetic, like how we see on a lot of social media. You want to actually let it be a part of your journey in your life. Okay. Let me go to the next one. Ashe, thank you for that. All right. Okay, I'm watching the time. If this is resonating with y'all, thank you for the hearts and the likes. Whatever love you can give, they be like tap, 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 tap. It just I'm really not big on telling people to do that. I don't know why. It just don't be resonating with me, but I'm like, okay. It is good because it's the way that you let the universe know, the algo, right? The algorithm, the rhythm of manifestation. Like this is what resonates with me. So that's why I'm mentioning it, because it has a spiritual component. So the next card that I pull is the Pillar of Light. Ashe. Who needed that? I feel like a lot of y'all have really went through some dark times. Y'all have been going through some shit. And it's been like one thing after the other. Y'all have really been going through some shit. But y'all been going through it, but you haven't been really going through it because you haven't been processing it. Because things have been happening so close together, you really hadn't had the opportunity to process it and sit with it. So there are some things that can help you with that. Because we tend to, when you get hit with one thing after the other, I mean, you sometimes you don't even know where to begin. You're just trying to keep your head above water, and a lot of y'all been really trying to keep your head above water. A lot of y'all have walked through some dark times, and a lot of y'all don't feel like anybody in your circle of influence really understands the depth of what you have been through and went through. So you kind of keep it to yourself and you just try to work through it and show up, and you still try to be the person you feel like you're supposed to be. But I am sensing that the heart is heavy about something. And you've been keeping yourself busy and distracted, when you do have free time, just because of the heaviness of it. You just feel like you just need a break from lifing, you know what I'm saying? And maybe you catch yourself saying it's like, I need a fucking break. Like I need a break, I need a vacation, I need a woosah, like I need something. Okay. So when this card comes up, it's usually a sign that whatever you are experiencing or about to experience is a test, and the purpose of the test is to determine how much light you are now capable of anchoring into your being, into your mind, your mindset, into your body and your soul, and allowing it to come through. It says the pillar of light, burning bright, earth star below, soul star above. Burn away all that is not light. Transform all into unconditional love. Star of Isis, descend, your blessing and peace without end. Grace me now with peace and protection, completely embraced by divine perfection. That's beautiful. It's really interesting that I would pull one of the few cards that comes up poetic that way. So that lets me know that I got a lot of really gifted people. You are gifted in a lot of different ways, but you are gifted with your words. You could even be somebody who, if you really wanted to, you probably used to write songs, and it's probably something you ain't did in a long time, but you would write songs, or you like to write affirmations for yourself. If that's the case, lean into that to transmute this heaviness. When you think about the Earth star and the Soul star, so these two stars are actually chakras. The Earth chakra is about 3 to 6 feet under our feet, and the Soul star chakra is about 3 to 6 feet over our crown chakra. It's the chakra that the silver cord that keeps us connected to life force energy through the cosmos is connected to. And so, yes, you must remind yourself that you are an alchemist. You can transmute this. And no matter how dark shit look, on the other side of this is light. Not because of anything somebody else do or somebody come and help you or whatever it is. You just set in your mind that just because things have been happening one after the other don't mean that's going to keep happening. A lot of times we get stuck in certain cycles because our mind and emotions haven't shifted yet to allow space for something else to happen. So let's do the opposite. Instead of bracing yourself for this week and what's about to come and what might be happening in your life, maybe you're waiting to get some news or some feedback about something. Maybe you're waiting to hear back about a job or an apartment or a house that you applied for. Like, I feel like you're waiting to get a response about something or from somebody, or maybe something you've expressed to somebody and y'all haven't talked about it yet. You're waiting to have the opportunity to talk about it. But maybe in the past, those conversations went in a more negative way. So you might be feeling a little apprehensive about whatever is on the other side. You might be feeling apprehensive about the next things to unfold in your life because life been kind of inconsistent. You have not really been feeling grounded. Earth star, that's grounding, right? So grounding yourself is going to be really, really helpful. Visualizing roots moving through the bottom of your feet down into Mama Earth. And just that, it makes her happy when we do this. Like it's like a mama picking her kid up from school and they haven't seen them all day and they so used to being with them every day type feeling. So when we do this, Mama Earth responds with a burst of love energy. And so you could ground yourself with that simple visualization and take some slow, deep breaths. But I want to say this, you have blocked out some of the light because you have a hard time believing that things are going to actually change for you in a positive way. And that's no judgment to you for that. We all do that. And if you feel like you know how something is going to go or how it usually goes, then you already have made up in your mind that conversation with your boss, your coworker, that conversation with your partner, with your child, with your friend, whoever, whatever, you already got a feeling in your mind that the conversation probably is not going to go well. And based on evidence, that might be true. But just because something is showing up as logical reasoning and evidence doesn't mean you can't alter the way things move in your life. We ultimately are the creators of our reality, right? So let the light in. You have blocked the light out. You have been in survival mode, and when you go into survival mode, your mind, your ego fixates itself on the negative things because the ego is trying to survive. So it feels like if I keep my eyes fixated on this tiger, then it's less likely this tiger is going to sneak up on me and eat me. So that's called hypervigilance. And so what happens is we're constantly looking for the negative things that we expect to happen based on what's been happening or whatever patterns we have noticed. And so you just do the opposite. You start saying to yourself, you know what? It might actually go a completely different direction. Matter of fact, I'm just going to lean in that direction. Yep, we probably have had 99 conversations and hardly any of them ever led to a resolution. But that don't mean that it's going to happen like that this time. That you feel the difference that shifts the energy around you. And this is just you having a conversation with you in a different way. Now, the ego is afraid of being disappointed. So it is the ego part of us that get overly attached to outcomes. So once you say this to yourself, you say, but no matter how it goes, I'm unattached to it. Eventually, everything is going to work out anyway. And that's you choosing neutrality. And whenever you choose neutrality, you position yourself to experience whatever potentials you haven't tapped into yet. You make room for those new experiences to come in because you're opening up space. So when we're emotionally charged about something, we're not feeling neutral. We're feeling super emotionally charged. And so you're going to attract things that's going to feed that emotional charge. Because the archons need to eat. They got to eat, right? And they feed on energy. But if you can get in a neutral space is kind of like being in the eye of the storm. In the eye of the storm, most of the velocity of the storm, it's not amplified. It's more neutral. And so learning how to shift your emotions into neutrality in the eye of the storm will do amazing things. It takes practice. If you happen to have a blessing to have people in your life that trigger you, that's such a blessing. Be so grateful for them because you get to practice this. And you get to say the next time that I'm triggered, I'm going to shift myself into neutrality. And if this person happens to trigger you often, you get plenty of practice. And with practice makes perfect, right? It talked about divine perfection. And so this is going to provide protection for you just by doing that one thing. All right, y'all. Okay. Thank you for the people who are inviting people to the live. That's beautiful. You know, I watch some people who get on here and, I mean, they be on here, they be going so hard. They be on here often. And, you know, I love being able to share my gift with other people. I love being able to share this energy, this love frequency with other people. But I don't do this often because I'm doing a lot of self-work so that you're not getting quantity, you're getting quality. But yes, thank you for sharing it because the algorithm don't usually, be pushing me out there like that. Okay, so that was beautiful. I see I'm doing almost 50% channeling in this reading, but I'm allowing these messages to come through. If I've said something that resonated with you or was helpful, let me know in the comments. Let me know. I'm going to definitely rewatch this. I'm going to download this, and I'm going to post this on my YouTube for a replay as well tomorrow. After I'm home from my treatments, I'll make sure that I do that because I've said a lot. And you just take some quick notes that'll help you. It was one other thing that I wanted to say, but I'm just going to let the cards talk because 9 times out of 10, the cards are going to say what it was that I wanted to say, and I forgot what I wanted to say anyway. So we're going to let the cards talk today. And here I go rhyming. If y'all know, if you're not new, you already know that this is what I do. That shit is so true. I don't be trying to do it. It just be coming through. I'm really not trying. So rhyme is a way of creating spells, right? And so for those of us who are MCs, musicians are magicians. You got to be kidding me. Okay, y'all just heard what I just said, right? Okay. Can you guess what card I pulled? Hadn't even looked at it yet. The Magician. I was just saying that. Like right as I flipped this card over, Magician was coming out of my mouth. But musicians are magicians. If you have musical talent, please start using your musical talent. Even if you just use it for yourself, Like, start using it. Don't take it for granted. It's something super special. Sound heals. I was literally just saying that. So the Magician card, I feel that this card is coming up because you're about to experience a new level of your ability to alter your reality. You're about to see. You really have been you've already been seeing this. You already have been having synchronicities and things happen. Certain dreams, like stuff been happening where you like, yo, this is crazy. You know, you already been seeing 1111. You already been seeing 333. Like, you already been seeing these numbers. Like, it's been happening. You already been noticing dragonflies, like, around you, around your house, around your vehicle. Like, you've been noticing stuff. It's already been happening. But you're about to receive a new level of this energy. The Magician is very the Magician is, you know, an alchemist in nature. The Magician is like, okay, all right, I'm gonna use what's already in my hands and turn it into something else. I'm gonna even take the shit that life threw at me, and I'm gonna turn it into something else. And I was just telling y'all, like, y'all have went through a lot of hard times. Y'all are coming out of a dark time. And so, but I need you, because we talked about the spiritual tools, and now I got the Magician card. So this is telling us an entire story. Maybe you getting back to using your tools is going to help you to feel more confident in your ability to alter your life, your reality, even heal. Like physical healing, a lot of physical healing can happen when we shift into this. And so, you know, if you have resistance in your physical body to something that you want to manifest, the amount of effort that it's going to take to manifest it, you still can. But by the time you manifest it, you're going to be exhausted, and you're probably not even going to fucking want it no more. You probably not going to even want it as much as you thought you wanted it. And then you like, I expended all of this energy. All these months I've been doing so and so and so and so. And like, now that I done finally arrived, like, it don't even really hit the same. Like, this, okay, you know, like, I put all that energy into this and all this planning into this, and, you know, I feel flat about it. I mean, I'm grateful, but, you know, I don't feel the excitement that I thought I was going to feel, okay? So you got to be putting yourself in practice. Everybody who's going to watch this reading knows that they are a spiritual being and that their soul has a spiritual mission. But I can guarantee you less than 50% of those who watch this have not been moving through life like a magician. And be honest with yourself. Have you? Have you been moving through life like a magician? Like that you know that you can see through the illusion, and you know that you can even create a reality outside of the illusion, that you know that all of the chaos that's happening in the world actually can be a catalyst for your transformation. Are you acting like you know that? Because a lot of us intellectually got the information, but we got blockages. And so I'll be the first to tell you, I don't care how many spells, manifestations, meditations, mantras, affirmations, journaling, whatever. I don't care how much of that you do. If you got blockages in your body, which is reflected by, is a mirror of what's happening in our chakras, the amount of energy it's going to take to manifest stuff, it's just going to be so much where you just going to be like, why even try? Like, I don't even have the energy to fucking deal with this. And that's frustrating and irritating, because you know you're a spiritual being, but for some reason you just really hadn't been able to really move that way throughout life. So when you're not in this energy, you could be kind of operating in a destructive way, a self-destructive way. You could be sabotaging yourself because just the discipline to finish things that you start, the discipline to stay committed to stuff, and then when it get hard, you don't get so disheartened that you just give up, right? Having that discipline. Someone who knows that they have spiritual, magical soul missions and power, like once you really know, and you know that you know that you know, like deep down in your bones, you just start behaving differently. You start responding different. One thing about a magician is not really heavily negatively impacted by negative shit that happened in their life, because they know that if I give that much emotional energy to this specific thing happening in my life, energy flows where my attention goes. And so if my attention is fixated on this thing this person said to me, and I just keep thinking about it over and over again, or this particular situation I'm having with debt, or this particular situation I'm having because I done came into money, and then all of a sudden people I ain't talked to in a while coming around me, and it almost seems as if they feel like I owe them something, you know. And yes, it's hard times right now, and sometimes you can feel remorseful, you know, on a certain level, because you're like, well, I'm doing okay, you know what I'm saying. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not, but feeling bad about it, like, you know, that's not helpful. That's not helping nobody. So it's one specific thing that those who watch this know, that you have been saying you was go do it and you ain't did it yet. Whatever that one thing is, you know, go ahead and do it. Even if you have to do it scared. Even if you have to do it despite doubting if it's going to benefit you, do it anyway. This is your sign to do it anyway. And I feel like for a lot of y'all, it's a decision that you want to make about your passion, side hustle, side projects, a career, a conversation you've been knowing that you really need to have. You've been holding back. It could be maybe you want to create a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to create a video and you've been holding back. Your ego been giving you a lot of reasons and excuses not to. Whatever it is, like, you know what it is. And I feel like some of y'all, like, you know what? Yes, my third eye is open. Yes, I'm aware, but I still be drinking these damn Sprites. Like, I be on these Sprites and I tell myself shit like, well, you know, Sprite good for an upset stomach. You know, whatever. Like, we'll just tell ourselves all types of shit to hold on to things that we know we would benefit from letting go of. And so if that is you, whatever that one thing is, like I said, it could be something you're consuming, go ahead and get rid of it. Like, when you get off this live, just go ahead and get rid of it. Like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not eating no more dairy. I'm not consuming no more sodas. Like, whatever it is for you, this was your sign to go ahead and do it. Thank you for that. Now I'm going to go to self-care. I want to emphasize this. Self-care is a spiritual tool. Self-care is something that a magician never neglects, because all of the magic that is you moves through your body. So self-care might just look like hygiene on the surface. It could even look like vanity. I know for me, self-care is, as a Venusian goddess with a lot of Venus energy in my chart, self-care was something that was always important to me, and a lot of people call me vain. And at one point I felt that way. I was like, maybe I am vain. Maybe this is what it is. But what it was nobody taught us about self-care. Nobody taught us about self-love. And so if people haven't been taught the spiritual significance of the way that you treat your temple, the way that you treat your living altar, they will try to shame you and make you feel bad about things that you're doing for you. So yeah, I kind of went off there, but that was one of the reasons why I kind of fell back on self-care, especially when I was going through my religious initiation on this planet, because that's a form of initiation. That's a test. And I didn't want to be vain. So, you know, I stopped doing a lot of things, stopped wearing a lot of things. I kind of just stopped caring. I would even kind of, we would have conversations and we would laugh at people who was like so focused on their physical body and self-care. And we would call those people sinners. You know, we would be like, they just so full of themselves. But it's like, why wouldn't I be full of myself? Like, if I don't love me, if I don't fill myself up with love, then I'm going to be looking for it everywhere else. So, yes, it's beautiful for me to be able to feel myself and be full of myself. And it's nothing wrong with that, you know? And a lot of times we get shamed for that. And it's tricky. It can be confusing. So if you're getting accused of that and like you only think about yourself, you selfish. Ooh, why you doing that? You always on some type of weird diet. Why you drinking this? Why like I said, people have their NPC moments and they get used to distract us. Okay, so here we go. Your self-care practice. This is the image. Okay. And I'm gonna read this card, but look at the cute little dog. So baths, bathing. Y'all know I'm country as hell, so if you ain't from down here in the South and you hear me saying bath, you probably don't know what the hell I'm saying. It's BATH. It says, we all know the amazing benefits of a hot bubble bath. It soothes the muscles, eases tension, and soothes the entire body and soul. Allow your bath to be a soothing moment of bathing as a form of meditation to bring you into the moment and aware of all of your senses. Allocate yourself at least 10 minutes uninterrupted. Perhaps incorporate some aromatherapy for an extra boost, like some lavender, okay? And use that. I like to do lavender. I also like to do lemongrass. It's super relaxing, and because my nervous system is just often dysregulated, those things help regulate the nervous system. But it says get in, relax, and concentrate on your breathing. As you breathe in, feel your belly rising. As you breathe out, let out all the tension and stress from the day. Release it and let it go into the water. This helps you activate the relaxation response, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. And I have a lot of content, but I've been given a little bits of my book that I have been writing. But I call the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest part of us. And it's what a lot of us be chasing. We really just be trying to feel better. You know, we be trying to feel better on Earth right now, because Earth is like just ghetto as hell everywhere and crazy. It's like shit that was never on our bingo card all of a sudden is. It's just crazy. And we just want to feel better. We don't want to be in survival mode. We don't want to feel like we in fight or flight and every day you're fighting for your fucking life about something, or you fighting to be seen as you really are by people, or you trying to get people to see you, you know, as you are, whatever it is that you've been fighting for. Like, but we need a moment to relax. And because a lot of people that are in our lives have unprocessed trauma, their nervous systems are dysregulated, and so when we get in each other's energetic field, sometimes we can take on some of that energy. So you get in the tub, just pick a herb that resonates with you. I have two or three different types of spiritual baths on my website. And you can order that and use that and make this a part of your ritual. I put 13 different herbs, and flowers in my spiritual baths. So you'll be getting a lot of different benefits from that. So it says next, focus on the sensations. Feel the warm water surrounding you. Notice the soothing aromatherapy. Okay? Remember you're doing the deep breathing as you're doing this. Okay? And allow your intention to rest in this moment. When it begins to wonder about something else, probably thinking about that bill or that thing somebody said, or that doctor's appointment you got coming up, or maybe you want to make some career moves, or maybe you got to go to court about something. Like whatever it is, them thoughts are going to continue to circle back to you. And what you can do is when your mind starts to wander off, just bring it back. Treat your mind like a child that's in the candy store, and it wants to taste and touch and grab everything. What do? When they run off, you go back and you grab them and you pull them back. So treat your busy mind, because I feel like those of you who are watching this, that's something that really bothers you, how busy your mind is. So treat it like a child and in a loving way. Don't be don't be cruel, okay? Because I know a lot of us grew up like this, and you running around in the store 9 times out of 10, your ass is gonna get snatched. You go get snatched back. It ain't gonna be no nice asking, come on baby, come on back over here. Get your ass back over here. Don't be running around and touching shit and touching every damn thing in here, and bring your ass back over here, right? Oh, hey Jerry. I love you. That's my brother, y'all. I hit you twice on this one. I say that's beautiful. So, your mind wandering, you feeling like in your mind, you feel like you should be an airbender. I don't know if any of y'all ever watch Airbender or anime, but like in your mind and inside of you, you be like, I can do this shit. Like you probably watch X-Men and you resonated with some of the stuff, and you like, I low key feel like I can do that. Right? That's who I'm talking to right now in this reading. So if you feel like that, but you can't calm your mind, those two things actually creates a split. It creates fragmentation. So and on one side of you, you do feel unique, special, and capable. But then on another side, you feel like, look, I can't even control my thoughts. Like, how in the hell am I going to create the reality that I desire and improve this and that or let go of that? And I can't even control my mind. So just remember, your mind is a little kid that's excited and wants to do everything. And so pull those thoughts back calmly. And you could just say, thank you for reminding me about that bill. I'll pay that tomorrow or whatever. I'll deal with that later. But right now, we're going to stay in the present moment and focus and go back to your breath. Use your breath to ground and anchor you. And then once you're grounded and anchored, then when you exhale, please don't exhale quietly. Where do we get this from? We don't make enough sounds and noise. Think about babies and kids. They constantly. That's not a sign of a lack of intelligence. It's the complete opposite. They're still fresh out of the galactic center as the soul comes through the galactic center. So a lot of things that babies do, we actually need to be doing too. Okay, so express when you sigh. It might come out like a grunt, frustration. It could sound like a moan. Use that sound because that holds the signature of your soul. I did a 10-minute video teaching you about all of the metaphysics and spirituality around that. And you can go to my YouTube channel and watch that video where I broke down sound and music and vibration and why it do what it do and how we can use it for our own selves. So try that out. Use the breath work. Also, because you are sitting in water, water holds memory. Remember Dr. Emoto? He did the research and he would speak to glasses of water and then freeze them, and the water would hold the frequency of what he was speaking. And so if you look at the one that he frozen that was love, it like the most beautiful snowflake that I had ever seen. And the one where he was saying hate, it just looked deformed. It looked chaotic. It had a lot of rough, sharp edges to it. The symmetry did not look like it was guided by divine consciousness. It was just all over the place. Very asymmetrical. So water holds memory. Water can even hold images. Scientists have done this research, and water would create the image that was being shown to it. So just know the power of water. And maybe you don't like to take baths because I just heard you. I don't know who that was. You're like, I don't really bathe that much. I'm more of a shower person. You can do this while you're in the shower as well. Okay? And so when you pull your mind into the present moment, you're grounding yourself, number one. Number two, you're pulling yourself out of the future or the past. Because if you're constantly thinking about the future, which shows up as anxiety, you're thinking about things that haven't happened yet, and you're feeling the emotion of what you think the outcome might be, but you're not there yet. So you're basically fragmenting yourself. And when you fragment yourself, You didn't disconnect yourself from your higher our divine self, and you can't hear your soul speak to you. So when you pull yourself into the present moment, you're able to hear your soul speak to you. For some of us, we're thinking about the past, thinking about stuff that happened in the past, thinking about things that we wish we could change, thinking about regrets and reasons that we struggle with forgiveness, right? If that's you, you're dropping an anchor energetically in a past moment, and whatever emotion that past moment embedded into you, your body can't tell the past from the present from the future. So your entire body is reliving that moment as if it's happening to you again. And so if that moment was a moment that was traumatic for you in any way, upsetting or whatever it was, you're flooding your body with that emotion, right? So in the present moment is a neutral space. I just talked about that. This is being able to pull yourself into a neutral space, not an emotionally charged space connected to something from the past or something in the future. And by connecting to the present moment, there is so much power and untapped potential in the present moment. A lot of us miss it. And so if you can't sit still and eat by yourself, if you always got to have the TV going, you always got to have some music playing, you always got to have some noise in the background. A lot of things that we do is because it's just sitting still in the present moment is a challenge. And I'm hearing this really clearly. So on a medical level, this is just intuitive medical sharing. This is not medical information, and I'm not a medical professional. Okay, so there is no responsibility on my end, but I'm just gonna say what I hear. 11:11, Ashe. So gratitude. Your physical body, whatever is happening in your physical body that has been overwhelming for you or that you have not been able to change, is because you have been spending too much time anchored in the past or anchored in the future. You haven't spent enough time in the present moment. And when we don't spend enough time in the present moment, the body starts to degrade, because the body needs the communication from our higher divine self, which is the soul. The body also needs that communication, not just the spirit. And so when you're not plugged into you, when you're not plugged into that better version of you that you're wanting to become, you end up using a lot of the energy within your physical body to try to force things to happen. But if you would just learn how to align, ground, and connect, you won't have to put as much energy, time, or money into certain things that you want to heal. So where do you spend most of your time? That is the question I would like to present to y'all as I get ready to pull the last card. Do you spend most of your time in the future, or do you spend most of your time in the past? Or what some of y'all say, you probably like half and half. But I can guarantee you the time that you intentionally spend being fully in the present moment, being fully in your body, it's probably 10% or less. All right. Do I have a chime? I wish I did. What is a chime? Look, I be trying to learn this TikTok stuff. If that's a TikTok thing, I'm like, I don't even know what it is. And yeah. That's beautiful. Y'all resonated with this. So yes, let me say this too. If the past, the present, and the future, right, was a radio station, the one that you tune to the most is the energy that you're going to broadcast out in your day-to-day life. What shows up in our life is a reflection of what's in our subconscious mind. The conscious mind only controls or alters 10% of what shows up in our life. The other 90% of what's in our life is coming from the subconscious mind, which is actually what rules over what creates our reality. So the radio station of the past is going to keep you in cycles of attracting things outside of you that are a vibrational match for that past experience. If the radio station you listen to more of is the future, then the universe is going to mirror back to you more reasons to feel anxious about things that haven't happened yet. Catastrophic thinking, and you will find yourself energetically trying to protect yourself and guard yourself. It's kind of like when somebody get abused, if the person that's abusing them wave their hand to say bye, they might flinch. And it's because their subconscious mind, which rules over those automatic bodily reactions, is saying this is not a safe situation. And so for a lot of us, we have been, trauma is trying to come out the subconscious mind and it's being mirrored in our life, but we tend to take things so personally that we're missing the spiritual lesson in those moments. So do what you can to put your radio station on 101 point present, okay? Instead of 83 past and 72 future, whatever. Put your radio station on the station. And this goes for anything. Because if you have, the subconscious mind is kind of like a child. It's very spongy. It absorbs everything, even the subliminal messages that our conscious mind don't notice. It goes into the subconscious mind. This is why advertisement uses so many subliminal messages. So what happens is, imagine your subconscious mind is like a child. If every time y'all ride in the car, you're listening to the most vulgar radio station, then okay, that child 9 times out of 10 over time is going to absorb that and maybe even start to enjoy it, right? And this will start to create this child's reality and create this child's personality almost against their will. And music is embedded, sound is embedded, memories are embedded into the body, and they carry an energetic signature. And so if you're trying to change your life, but the present version of you was created by the past things that happened, and you're not spending time being present, then you don't get a chance to let the child of inside of you open those Christmas presents of the present moment. And those Christmas presents starts with Christ, which means it's your Christ consciousness, which is the same thing as your higher self, your Ori, your divine self, your oversoul. And so that version of you is you're not putting your radio station on that station. So this is why you have been missing the messages that have been being sent to you. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes it's hard for me to explain these things because I'm feeling the messages. So putting it into words sometimes can be a challenge. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. All right, here we go. I'm getting tired, y'all. I know it's time for me to wrap it up. Channeling and intuitively connecting to the Akashic records and people's soul contract takes a lot of energy. It was you. I'm not going to shuffle no more. I felt. Wow. Wow. Vishvamata is who I pulled today, y'all. Vishvamata. Okay, I'm glad I explained it good. Vishvamata. You notice the third eye though. It's open. It's open. All right. I'm gonna read about this goddess. And as I pull this up, let me say this. You might be shocked at how much of this is going to speak to you. Though these goddess archetypes may seem like something that can only share wisdom for the feminine, it's for everybody, because these are forces of nature. They are consciousness. They are energy. Okay? It is the feminine principle of creation that has been removed from society. And that's why we're seeing the collapse of society. The feminine, she lost her crown for a little while. Okay? And so we all have both feminine and masculine energy within us. So I wanted to premise with that, because some people don't understand why I pay so much attention to goddesses and studying them and finding common denominators and seeing the lessons that they went through and how they overcame it. So this is beautiful. Let's watch what happens, and let's see how much of this aligns with the cards that I pull, all from different decks. It says, with her protection, even significant uncertainty does not need to be wrought with despair. There's a pathway that can shift your devastation into a palpable experience of being protected and guided through a difficult time. Trust where you are being led. Grace shall come from this. The Divine Mother sees our capacity for breathtaking transformation and spiritual awakening, often far more than we can recognize in ourselves. To fulfill our inner purpose and move beyond unnecessarily restrictive, imposed limitations, we need her. When we hold back, gripping on to what is familiar, she lovingly forces our hand. Under her influence, we do not evade what is required of us. We find the inner strength and move directly through that which we once denied ourselves the right and opportunity to overcome. So far, this is everything we talked about. You are encouraged to develop the confidence and commitment necessary to undertake the tasks that challenge and yet also inspire you. Do not allow yourself to be intimidated by the prospect of failure or opposition. Stay true to your path and your progress, one step at a time. Trust your capacity to grow into the fulfilling manifestation of your heartfelt aspirations. I talked about the self-trust. Although you may be in circumstances you would prefer not to be in, you are in a position of unrealized spiritual power. You will gain benefit from what is transpiring. When the relevant learning and personal growth have been acknowledged and integrated, these circumstances will give way to a more favorable situation. When Vishvamata appears, it is not only signifying that we have the capacity to move through a situation that we have avoided dealing with in the past, but that we can do so in a far more gentle and graceful manner than expected. You have the power of the Divine Mother's wisdom and blessings within you. Do not underestimate her. Do not underestimate yourself. When we are willing to look at ourselves rather than other people or external circumstances as the primary source of our pain, Vishvamata, the Cosmic Mother, appears with a genuine desire for you to heal and outgrow the causes of suffering. She is Kali as a sweet savoress, a beloved soul mother. She becomes Kripatara, or the vessel of compassion. I talked about Kuan Yin and compassion earlier. Look at that. We can go to her and receive as much love, support, kindness, protection, and anything else we need. The babies that hang from her ears are invitations to approach her as a child would approach its mother. I literally gave that exact example about being in a candy store with a child and treating your thoughts like that. Can't make this stuff up. I'm glad I did this live so y'all can see, like, this helps when we doubt and don't trust. When spirit move in a way that's undeniable, It's hard to argue with that. It says with complete trust and positive expectation. I talked about that. Maybe it's not going to go the way it used to. Maybe it's going to have a positive outcome. If we have had issues with our mothers or mother figures, her presence triggers healing. Mother issues can impede our ability to trust and feel that we are safe and that we belong. They make it hard for us to feel that our inner life is valuable and worthy of attention, that we are truly loved and valued just as we are, and able to rest within ourselves, feeling that we are enough. The Divine Mother does not struggle with human limitation. We can go to her wounded and messy, and she will receive, heal, and love us without judgment. Her expression is semi-wrathful yet serene, and that reminds us that her ways strengthen our boundaries against that which can no longer support the soul. She will not hesitate to strike at what could harm us. She also dissolves the defenses we have unconsciously set up against life so that we soften and become eager to participate in our own life journey. When we are not hardened, corrupted, or rendered bitter by life experiences, we can be more open, like a curious child, and be guided more easily by our hearts along the unique and empowering life path the Divine Mother offers us. Do y'all see why I study the goddesses? That mothering energy, it's not our mother's fault. It's not their mother's fault. It's nobody's fault. But I have yet to meet a human being who don't have a mother wound or have a mother that had a mother wound. I have yet to meet anybody. And mother wounds are one of the root causes of most of the things that we struggle with. And this is what happens when trauma is not healed. It cuts even deeper than a father wound because we set in the waters of our mothers. And whatever words was being spoke to her, whatever words she was saying, whatever disempowered negative thoughts she was having, it got embedded inside of us while we were floating in the water, which holds memory. Now, invocations are kind of like prayers, where you're saying, you know what? That wisdom is something that I feel like would benefit me. And I want to call that wisdom into my life. And by doing that, your mind will start to have new thoughts. You will start to assign new meanings to the same shit you've been going through. But all of a sudden, it means something different. So the next time somebody is triggered by your presence, and maybe you haven't even did anything, but your presence is just triggering for them. You might used to say, they must be mad at me about something. Now your mind is going to say, they're struggling with some stuff. It's not personal. And I would say 99.9% of the time, how other people treat us is more so about themselves than us. And this is why on a spiritual journey, someone who has truly attained wisdom is capable of not seeing things as being a personal attack on them. And this is going to help you to feel more optimistic about life and be more neutral. And a lot of times it's just subconscious programming. It's just the wounded inner child saying, you know, they mad at you about something. And maybe as kids, for those of you who watch this reading, maybe you used to get in trouble pretty often about stuff. And sometimes you didn't even do nothing wrong. Sometimes you know your ass had did what they said you had did. But there was sometimes where you didn't even do nothing wrong. But maybe you had did something so many times that they stopped believing you. And now it's just like a teacher, and you mess up a couple of times through the beginning of the school year. And the rest of the school year, that teacher go always be calling your name and thinking you did some shit. And you the one that's got everybody in the class laughing. And it wasn't even you. And so this go back to the schemas, okay? The samsaras. Schemas in psychology is basically a filter on the mind. It's a repetition of a certain meaning we assign to something. Samskaras, like in spiritual Hinduism, is the energy that is embedded on the subconscious mind based on past experiences. And so the reason a lot of us experience being blamed for stuff we weren't doing, but we probably was doing it at some point, is because that pattern got embedded inside of us. And as long as that wounded part of you has not been healed, you will attract that in your external world. So the invocation is like a prayer. It's like an invitation for you to be able to see things from this level of consciousness. It says, I bow to thee, Kali Ma, the cosmic queen, and supreme yogini of all hearts. You know how to overcome the ways in which I delude, deny, and diminish my own self, where I am complicit in deceptions that can only birth more sorrow. You are gentle and sweet, even as you lead me into direct confrontation with that which I have tried to avoid. Your compassionate wisdom is unwavering. Through your fierce devotion to my heart's liberation, I shall overcome even the deepest wounds within my own self. Vishvamata, Kripadara, in your kindness, you require me to cross the threshold from fear to trust and blissful peace in the sanctuary of you. You know my capacity and how to evoke my potential into expression, even more than I do. With perfect trust in your wisdom, I shall now turn away from what is before me. I shall successfully navigate and triumph over all soul challenges through your grace for the spiritual benefits of all beings. That's beautiful. So if this is new for you, think of these energies as levels of consciousness, as forces of nature, certain energies you can tap into. This is a very mothering energy. And I feel like the people who are watching this reading, you have been healing some wounds that have been in your bloodline for a long time, that have been passed down through your mothers. And the rage that they could not feel was passed down to you for you to learn how to process it. You know, the voice that they weren't allowed to have, now you're being challenged to speak your truth and live in your truth. And that does mean that sometimes people are not going to be happy with you. People are going to be annoyed and irritated by you. But being able to be okay with that, that's how you know you're really growing up. Because you're like, you know what? It's okay that you feel that way about me or think that way about me. I don't have the right to manipulate your perception of me, because that's your own perception in your own mind. And I respect a person's sovereignty. So I'm not going to try to defend myself. I'm not going to over-explain. And I'm not going to be offended. It's okay. And when you approach accusatory energy with that type of energy, guess what happens? You neutralize it. You disarm the pattern of dysfunction. So something really quick that you can do, because this is all about the body, right? Connecting spirit and the body. Okay, so if they work together, you could lay your hand over your heart, and you could use your right hand to reach to the heavens above, as if you're reaching for this cosmic mother energy, which is from which all creation came. This is why wombs create humans. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. And so the galactic center of our galaxy is the womb of our universe. And so all souls come through that womb, right? So you can also look at it as cosmic energy. So you can hold your heart, use your other hand to reach to the heavens. Feel that she grabs hold of your right hand, and slowly guide your right hand with her hand resting on top of it. And this is just a visualization. You may even actually feel something. You may feel a vibration, because remember, energy flows where your attention goes. All right? Until it covers your left hand at your heart. So you're going to like slowly pull that heavenly cosmic energy down. And then you're going to lay your hand over your heart. The right hand will be laying on top of the left hand. which is on the heart. And just tune into yourself, feel, sense, and receive this love, this compassion, and the spiritual protection. And once you have done that, your sacred ritual is complete. And the word ritual simply means something that we do in repetition. All of us have rituals. Brushing your teeth is a ritual. Washing your face is a ritual, right? It's what we do in repetition. So that will help you. I hope that this reading was helpful to y'all and y'all enjoyed this. Thank you for those of you who gave me gifts and hearts and likes and shares that commented. I appreciate you. I truly believe that the souls who were called to watch this in the next 6 to 8 weeks, you're going to turn into someone else. You're still going to be you, but you're just going to turn into a version of you that when you lay down at night to go to sleep, you fall asleep with a smile on your face. And you're like, I'm really proud of myself. I'm really starting to like who I am. And it's one thing to love yourself, but to actually like yourself, that's next level. I really like me. I like me just as I am without changing anything. I'm proud of myself. Today was rough, but I pushed through. I got through it. I flowed through it. Right? I didn't force anything. I found a way to be neutral. Things that I usually take personal, I brought my awareness to it. And I use self-awareness so that my emotions don't spiral out of control, because I don't want to be a buffet for parasites that feed on human suffering. I don't want my energy to be siphoned from me in that way. I don't want to feed negativity. I don't want to feed into the chaos. I don't want to feed into the fear. I don't want to feed into the trauma reenactments. Any dysfunctional pattern is a trauma reenactment. The world is a stage. And the ego is playing a role. But the subconscious mind is the casting director. Right? It has a whole casting couch, and it chooses based on what your soul wanted to evolve. And so whoever and whatever is in your life, they are there because they are part of your soul's evolution, not because they are a part of your destruction. And being able to have this one thought is going to massively help you to be more emotionally regulated and less triggered by the hurtful things that people say and do. And oftentimes, it's just a reflection of the way that they treat themselves on the inside when nobody is looking. It never really was about you. So you can forgive yourself. Some of y'all will benefit from forgiving yourself. After this reading, things may occur, and you're going to think back and be like, you know what? Now I see why self-forgiveness was important. Because some stuff is going to happen. We're in Scorpio season. Scorpio season is shadow. It's the stuff that we hid from our own selves, the things that we don't like about ourselves. Other people are dealing with that. So we're going to see a lot of energy moving that usually is behind the scenes. And because the veil is down, we can't be fake anymore and get away with it. Nobody can. And we're starting to be able to see things for what they are. You know, it's like somebody could be really beautiful on the outside, but the inside is nasty and ugly. And now you will look at them and you'll see the energy inside of them versus the aesthetic that's outside of them. And it's because you're learning how to see energy within yourself. And so this is going to help you. It's going to help you to avoid certain situations, relationships with people that's not in an alignment, careers that's not in alignment, making decisions that's not in alignment. Like, you're going to notice this in Scorpio season this year. I talked about that in last week's collective reading. So you could check out the rest of my readings on my YouTube. The link is in the bio. I'm going to go ahead and rest and take care of myself. I don't want to be on here being a fucking hypocrite. I'm telling y'all to do some stuff I'm not even doing. You know, that type of misalignment, that type of insincerity, It's just not something that's going to be beneficial on this version of Earth anymore. And when we unplug ourselves from those programs, guess what happens? We collapse the prison planet. We collapse structures. So don't think that these shutdowns and stuff that's happening is because they got all the power. A lot of us came here to learn how to be sovereign. And so a lot of things are shutting down and being cut off because we're being challenged to be sovereign. And government means to rule over the mind. But if, as a people and as a collective, if we learn how to be emotionally regulated and be able to rule over our mind, do we need government? Do we need a small set of people deciding and choosing what's best for us, oftentimes without even really consulting or considering us? And so as we see so much of that, as we see some people aren't going to be able to feed their kids because of benefits that have been cut off, I know that that can look really horrific, but there's always two sides to a coin. And the other side of that is that we're going to step into our hero's journey, our heroine's journey, and we're going to see people helping people that probably usually wouldn't. And so whatever they were hoping the negative outcome of a lot of these orchestrated events was going to be, it's not going to go the way that they were hoping it was going to go, because we're going through a spiritual awakening. We're not who we used to be. We're going to move different. And so communities, neighbors, people are going to start stepping up and helping each other where the void has been created that we used to have and we don't have anymore. And so this is why I said y'all are here in a really important time. And you fucking matter. You do. All right, y'all. Peace.